Alright guys, day number 19, part 2. Day 19, part 2, not day number 19. I just got used to the way I titled the videos. No, day 19, part 2. So in this video, I'm going to be talking more about meditation and what I've learned from listening to that podcast episode by Dr. Andrew Huberman on the Huberman Lab podcast. And so continuing on the discussion that I left unfinished in my last video, so day number 18 part 2 I believe, but definitely one of the day number 18 videos. Anyways, so what I've learned how to differentiate between interoceptive and exteroceptive feeling, so based on what Dr. Andrew Huberman said. So he said basically just close your eyes, sit still, and take notice of what your mind is drawn more towards. Are you focusing more on what's going on around you, like the car noises, sounds of nature, if you're outside and whatnot, or are you more focused on something that's going on inside of your body, maybe some thoughts in your head, maybe your any kind of bodily sensation, maybe like your hair is standing on end, maybe your heart is beating faster, whatever it may be, So if you're focusing more on things that are inside your body, internal, that means you're currently in an interoceptive state, and you would want to perform a type of meditation that forces you to tap into an exteroceptive state, and vice versa. If you were in an exteroceptive state, you'd want to practice a form of meditation that taps into your interoceptive state. So yeah. Also, another thing that he started talking about is breath work, and how the type of breath work that you perform dictates the type of breath work you perform has an effect on whether the type of meditation you're performing is interoceptively biased or exteroceptively biased. So basically, if you're performing non-cyclic breath work, something that is something that is normal, something that is unregulated, like just breathing in, breathing out like you normally do, that's going to be more exteroceptively biased, because you're not really going to be focusing on your breath that much if you're just breathing the way you normally do on a day-to-day basis. You're going to be focusing more on your surroundings typically. Now, if you perform a type of breath work that is cyclic, so something that's regulated, something that's not natural, such as the Wim Hof method or box breathing or anything like that, if you're performing such kind of breath work, then it's likely going to require that you pay more attention to your breath, and so it's going to be more interoceptively biased, because you're probably not going to be able to stick to that cycle of breathing subconsciously. You'll have to actually pay attention to it, and so it's going to draw your mind inwards, hence interoception. So basically, the type of breath work you choose to incorporate into your meditation dictates whether or not it's exteroceptively biased or interoceptively biased, apart from whether or not your eyes are open or closed, which I talked about in the previous video. So if your eyes are open, exteroceptively biased; if your eyes are closed, interoceptively biased. And so now he started talking. Now I haven't finished the podcast episode yet. I'm listening to it still, but now he started talking about dissociation, which is basically like detachment, essentially, not letting some stimulus affect your mood, your heart rate, your breath rate, like whatever it is, right? I don't think breath rate is the correct technical term. Maybe respiratory rate. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. So he talks about how basically a person's mental health state is like this spectrum, and the perfect situation is when you are not too exteroceptively inclined nor too interoceptively inclined. You're right in the middle, and you're capable of switching between the two of them at will, and you are also capable of engaging in emotions, engaging in activity, letting yourself be consumed in an activity, while simultaneously also being able to control detachment and be able to detach yourself from something. Like, let's say you're watching a movie and someone gets hit in the face with the basketball. You don't want to feel like you got hit in the face with the basketball too, because that means you're getting too involved, and you want to be able to detach from something like that. Now, let's say on the other hand, someone that you care about, someone that you love, is unhappy, they're upset, and hence maybe that'll make you upset, and so that's something reasonable, so that's something rational that your prefrontal cortex can dissociate, I shouldn't say dissociate, that your prefrontal cortex can differentiate between from a logical standpoint. And so it would make sense to become more engaged, more involved in that particular experience, in that particular event or emotion. because it's someone that you care about in the real world, in real life. And so yeah, that's basically like the sweet spot for mental health. But of course, almost no one is ever and no one ever achieves this, or at least achieves this permanently. It's always a temporary state, and it's usually very difficult to control, as Dr. Huberman suggests. And so that's basically the point that I've gotten to so far in the podcast. I still haven't finished listening to it, but once I do, again, I'll make another updated version of this video, and post it so that you guys can get the summarized, condensed version of the podcast, so that you don't have to watch the whole hour and a half long thing. Although I do recommend that you do. It's extremely informative, especially if you're someone who's passionate about neuroscience. You're gonna love this podcast. Anyways, that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.